Varnak was not human. He was something far worse. A perfect killer, trained by one of the oldest alien empires in the galaxy. He didn't speak. He didn't feel. He only had one goal: complete the mission and leave no trace behind. On a dark, silent night, Varnak's small black ship landed deep in the forest outside a quiet town on Earth. The trees burned as the ship's engines cooled. No one saw the landing. No one heard it. That's how Varnak worked: silent, deadly, invisible. He stepped out of the ship, wearing black armor that moved like skin. His eyes glowed faint blue. He had weapons inside his arms, under his skin. His body could heal fast. He didn't need sleep. He didn't need food. His target? A human named Jack Carter. The file said Jack was no one. No criminal record. No family. Worked in a small garage. Lived alone. No history. No danger. A ghost in human life. But Varnak had questions. If Jack was truly harmless, then why did the Council want him dead? They never sent Varnak for simple humans. Only dangerous ones. Enemies of the galaxy. Hidden threats. Still, Varnak never questioned orders. He just followed them. He entered the town just before sunrise. The streets were empty. Old shops, broken roads, and blinking lights filled the quiet place. He found the garage Jack worked in. A small metal building with rusted walls and old cars outside. Inside, Varnak saw Jack for the first time. He was changing a tire, covered in oil and dirt. He wore a torn gray shirt and ripped jeans. His hair was messy, and his hands were rough. He looked like a normal man with a boring life. But Varnak watched closely. Jack moved calmly, but there was something strange about him. Something quiet, like a lion hiding in the grass. Varnak stayed hidden and followed him for 2 days. Jack woke up, went to work, ate cheap food, and came back home. No visitors, no friends, no weapons, no signs of training. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Varnak's scanners picked up strange signals near Jack. Energy waves that did not belong to Earth. Small, but real. Then one night, Varnak followed Jack from work to his home. Jack walked into a dark alley behind an old store. Varnak followed, but the alley was empty. Jack had vanished. Varnak scanned the area. No footprints, no sound, just cold air and silence. He stepped forward slowly, ready to attack. His eyes scanned every corner. His weapons were ready. Suddenly, his scanner beeped. A red warning flashed on the screen. Assassin target is behind you. Varnak froze. His heart did not race, because he didn't have one. But his mind calculated a new danger. He turned around fast. Jack stood there, calm, still, not afraid. He wasn't holding a weapon. He didn't even raise his hands. He just stood there, smiling. A slow, knowing smile, like he was waiting for this moment. Varnak didn't understand. How did Jack get behind him? Why couldn't his sensors detect him? Nice tech, Jack said in a quiet voice, but your scanner's slow. Varnak said nothing. He raised his arm. A sharp blade came out. He swung it fast, aimed straight for Jack's throat. But Jack moved quicker. He ducked, turned, and kicked Varnak hard in the chest. The assassin flew backward and hit a brick wall. Cracks spread across it. Varnak stood up quickly. He had fought strong aliens, monsters, machines, but no one moved like Jack. Jack didn't chase. He just spoke again. You shouldn't have picked me. Then he vanished, just like before. Varnak scanned the area. Nothing. No life. No energy. Just silence again. He was alone. But now, he felt something he had never felt before. Doubt. Varnak had never failed a mission. Never. But now, the human he was sent to kill had kicked him through a wall and disappeared. Twice. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. He returned to his ship deep in the forest. His face was calm, but inside, his systems were alert. He connected to his main console and opened a secure link to his commanders across the galaxy. "Target not human," he said coldly. The reply came fast. "That's not possible. He is Earthborn. No alien blood. Complete the mission." Varnak didn't argue. He just ended the call. He sat in the dark, scanning Jack Carter's file again. Age: 32. Job: garage worker. No known family. No school records. No military. Just a long list of empty details. Like someone had erased his real past. That made Varnak even more suspicious. The next day, he went back into the town. But this time, he stayed high, hiding on rooftops and shadows. He watched Jack's garage from above. Jack was back at work like nothing had happened. Fixing a car, wiping his hands, talking to no one. But something was different. Jack seemed relaxed. Too relaxed. Like he was in control. Varnak watched for hours. Then, Jack looked up, right at him. No one could see Varnak. His armor had stealth mode. He was invisible to the human eye. But Jack smiled, like he could see everything. Varnak moved away quickly. He needed answers. That night, he broke into a nearby government building. It was quiet, dark, and protected by simple tech. He passed the security with ease and entered a hidden basement where old records were stored. He searched for Jack Carter. Nothing. Then he tried restricted files, hidden behind firewalls, locked with alien codes. He found something. A red folder marked HFY Project Terminated. He opened it. Inside were black and white images, experiments, notes, body scans, and in the middle, Jack Carter. Only he wasn't called Jack then. His name was different. There were 5 names, 5 fake lives, all hidden, all erased. Varnak read the file slowly. Subject X09, enhanced reflexes, muscle strength X10, neural sync speed, off the charts, possible psionic ability, mind projection in short bursts. Then one final note, terminated for being uncontrollable. So this was it. Jack wasn't normal. He wasn't even fully human anymore. He was made to be a weapon Earth tried to bury. Varnak was starting to understand. Jack didn't just escape the lab. He erased his past and became invisible. Until now. Suddenly, Varnak's ship alarm rang in his ear. BEEP. BEEP. Interior DTKTD. Varnak rushed out of the building, moving faster than light. Trees flew past as he ran back to the forest. His ship was still there, glowing in the moonlight. But something was wrong. The door was open. He pulled out his blade and stepped inside. Dark, silent. No heat signs, no movement. He moved to the control panel and stopped. Words were glowing on the screen. Not his words. "I know who sent you." Another message blinked. "You're not the first assassin, just the last." Varnak spun around, ready to fight. But no one was there. He scanned again. No life signs, no footprints, no sound. Then a soft voice came from the shadows. "You've been lied to." Jack stepped out from the dark corner of the ship. Varnak didn't wait. He moved like a bullet, blade flying. But Jack caught his arm in midair. Varnak tried to break free, but Jack was stronger. Jack twisted his wrist, calmly. "You're good," Jack said, "but you're not the hunter anymore." Varnak tried to punch. Jack ducked, slid behind him, grabbed his neck. In 1 second, Varnak was on the ground, his own weapon at his throat. Jack didn't kill him. He just looked down at him and said, "You were sent to kill me. But maybe I was waiting for you." Then Jack disappeared again, vanished like smoke. Varnak lay on the floor of his own ship, blade still in his hand. confused, defeated. For the first time in his life, the assassin knew the truth. He was being hunted. Varnak stood in the middle of his ship, still, silent. His systems were working fine, but something inside him had changed. He had been trained to kill, to win, to never doubt the mission. But now, for the first time, he was lost. Jack Carter was not just a man. He was faster, stronger, smarter. He could disappear without sound. He could read thoughts, maybe even control machines. No human should be able to do these things. Varnak stared at the message on his ship's screen. "You're not the first assassin, just the last." How many others had come before him? And how many had failed? Varnak opened a hidden memory file, a list of past missions. He typed Jack's real code name, X09. A new screen opened, locked by a warning sign. Access restricted. Creator class only. Varnak growled low. Only the alien High Council could open this level. But Varnak had tricks. He used an old stolen code from a dead creator. It worked. The truth came out in cold data. 7 assassins had been sent to Earth in the last 20 years. None had returned. All had been sent to kill X09. Now he knew Jack wasn't just a runaway. He was a ghost the galaxy couldn't kill. But why? Why was he left alive? Why didn't Jack kill him? Varnak needed answers, and there was only one place to find them. He flew across the sky in stealth mode and entered a government black site buried deep under a mountain. A human base, cold, full of secrets. Varnak moved through lasers, guns, and guards like water. He found the old lab that created Jack. The place was abandoned. Lights flickered. Walls were cracked. Broken machines lay in dust. On one table, he found a picture, a group of soldiers. In the middle stood Jack, younger but with the same cold eyes. Around him were 4 other men and women. Each one had a number on their chest. X05, X06, X07, X08. Jack was X09, the last. Below the photo were scribbled words. One by one, they turned. All but him. Varnak didn't understand. Turned. He searched deeper into the lab's memory banks and found hidden video files. He watched one. Jack, strapped to a chair. Wires in his head. Blood on his face. A voice asked, "Do you feel pain?" Jack said nothing. The voice asked again, "Do you remember what they did to your team?" Jack looked at the camera and whispered, "I remember everything." Then the screen went black. Varnak closed the files. Now it made sense. Jack's team had been killed. Or worse, he was the last one left. He didn't run. He stayed behind to hide from the people who made him. And maybe, to hunt the ones who sent the killers. Varnak walked out of the lab. The air outside was cold and quiet, but something wasn't right. His sensors beeped. Someone was close. He turned quickly and raised his arm blade. But he was too late. Jack was already standing in front of him. "How deep did you go?" Jack asked. Varnak didn't answer. Jack sighed. "Then you know." Varnak lowered his blade, just a little. "Why didn't you kill me?" Jack looked into the sky. "Because they're coming again." "Who?" "The ones who made you. The ones who made me. We were both tools to them. Weapons. And now they want Earth." Varnak shook his head. "They will destroy this planet. You cannot stop them alone." "I know," Jack said. "That's why I need you." Varnak was silent. He didn't trust Jack, but he didn't trust his creators either. Jack walked away. "Think fast," he said. "They're already here." Suddenly, the sky turned red. Varnak looked up. An alien warship entered Earth's orbit, large and dark, like a dying star. No lights, no message, just a silent shape ready to burn everything. His mind raced. He had a choice: help the human he was sent to kill, or fight against the enemy who built him. Final scene. Varnak watches the ship. His scanner flashes red. One word appears. Courier class vessel DTCTE. Then, a new message appears. Assassin unit VARNAK. TRMNAKE X09 or BTRMNAKED. He stares at it for a moment, then crushes the scanner in his hand. The sky above Earth was no longer peaceful. A giant black alien warship floated in orbit. No sound, no lights, just a silent shadow blocking the stars. It looked like a mountain made of metal, watching the planet like a hunter watches its prey. Inside a forest far below, Varnak stood still. His glowing scanner lay crushed on the ground. The last message from his creators still echoed in his mind. Terminate X09 or be terminated. He had never disobeyed an order. Never. But this time, something felt wrong. This time, the mission was a lie. Jack Carter stood nearby, calm and quiet. He had just told Varnak the truth. The creators were not coming to punish one man. They were coming to take Earth. They'll land in hours, Jack said. They won't ask. They'll kill anyone who resists. Varnak turned to him. Why Earth? It's just a small planet. Jack looked him in the eye. Because this small planet built something they couldn't control. Me. He picked up a stone and tossed it into the air. The creators hate things they don't control. They destroy what they fear. Varnak said nothing. His body was built to fight, not think. But now his mind was full of questions. You want me to help you fight them? He asked. Jack nodded. You're not like them. You're better. Varnak's eyes glowed brighter. I was made by them. I am one of their weapons. So was I, Jack said. But I broke free. You can too. For a moment, both stood silent. Wind moved through the trees. Birds flew away, sensing danger in the air. Then Varnak asked, What's your plan? Jack smiled slightly. First, we break into the main satellite uplink. We steal a signal key. Then we talk to the world. Varnak frowned. Humans won't believe you. They'll run. They don't need to believe, Jack said. They just need to wake up. Suddenly, a loud crack sounded in the distance. Varnak turned fast, eyes scanning. Scout drones, he said. They've already landed. Both ran through the forest, fast as shadows. They reached a hill. Below them, metal creatures were marching. Tall, sharp, with glowing eyes and long arms that turned into guns. 10, 20, 40. A full squad of hunter drones. They're scanning for you, Varnak said. No, Jack replied. They're scanning for us. Varnak looked at him. Then we give them a target. Without a word, the two jumped down the hill and attacked. Varnak moved like lightning, his blades cutting through steel. Jack moved like smoke, dodging bullets, breaking metal with his fists. They fought back to back. Two enemies, now allies. When the last drone exploded, Varnak stood in the smoke, covered in sparks. He looked at Jack. I never thought I'd fight beside a human. Jack laughed. I'm not fully human, remember. They both turned toward the city. Time was short. They reached the uplink tower in the city's edge. The streets were empty. People had seen the red sky. Fear was spreading. Inside the tower, Varnak hacked the controls. His fingers moved fast, wires glowing under his skin. Done, he said. Jack stepped forward, stared into the camera. His voice went out across the world. TVs, phones, radios. My name is Jack Carter. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to warn you. He spoke clearly, simply. A ship is above Earth. It's not friendly. It's not here for peace. It's here to take control. The same people who built me are coming to kill you. He paused. I was made to fight, but now I choose to protect. Then he said one last thing. You're stronger than you know. Fight with me. Stand up. The message ended. Outside, sirens rang. Military trucks rolled in. People screamed in the distance. Varnak stepped beside Jack. "You've just made yourself a target." "I already was," Jack replied. Suddenly, a loud beep echoed in Varnak's head. A new message from the creators. Final offer. Kill X09 now and receive full freedom. Delay, and your body will be shut down in 60 seconds. Varnak didn't speak. He looked at Jack. Jack looked back. Calm. Unafraid. "I won't run," Jack said. "Do what you have to." The timer in Varnak's head began to count down. 60, 59, 58. He could feel his limbs starting to slow. Pain signals started to rise. He had one chance. Kill Jack or die. Final scene. At 5 seconds left, Varnak reached up and ripped the control chip from his own neck. He fell to one knee, sparks flying, but still alive. Jack grabbed his arm, pulled him up. "You chose well," Jack said. Varnak stood tall, and for the first time in his life, he was truly free. The world was waking up to a nightmare. The message Jack sent had spread like wildfire. People everywhere were terrified, confused, but also angry. They had been told for years that they were powerless, that they were nothing compared to the stars above them. But now, they had heard the truth. And the truth was a spark that would turn into a fire. Varnak stood beside Jack, watching the chaos unfold. The streets were full of soldiers, scientists, and ordinary people running to their posts. Some looked ready to fight. Some still couldn't believe what was happening. But all were moving, preparing for war. The air felt heavy, thick with fear and determination. "The creators won't wait long," Jack said. His eyes scanned the skyline. The black ship was still there, silent and menacing above them. "They'll come down soon, and they'll want everything." Varnak clenched his fists. "We can't fight them head on. They're too powerful." Jack turned to him. "You're right. We can't fight their army, but we can fight their control. We can take away their power." Varnak raised an eyebrow. "How?" Jack pointed to the massive communication tower, the one that sent out signals to the whole planet. "The uplink controls the alien ship. If we can hijack the signal, we can send a message straight into their ship. We can stop them before they land." It was the only chance they had. The two of them raced to the tower. The streets were filled with people, some running, some setting up defenses, others organizing in groups. But the fear was obvious on every face. They had never fought against aliens before. They had never even imagined it. Varnak looked around. People were gathering weapons, makeshift shields, and even trying to get military tanks ready. "The humans are strong when they fight together," he said quietly. Jack smiled, but his eyes were serious. "They have no choice now." They'd reached the tower's base. It was heavily guarded. Soldiers in full armor stood in front of the entrance, guns raised. "Stay back," one of the guards shouted. "The aliens will land soon. We have to protect the uplink." Jack stepped forward, calm as ever. "I'm not here to fight you," he said. "We're here to save this planet. If you want to fight, you can stay and die. But if you want to live, follow us." The guards hesitated. Then one of them stepped aside. "We'll follow your lead, X09. We just didn't know what to do." Jack nodded. "We all feel that way. But now, we do what we must." Inside the tower, Varnak moved quickly, bypassing security systems with ease. His eyes flicked from one screen to another, the lights of the control room flickering as he hacked into the mainframe. Jack stood guard, watching every door and window. He knew what was coming. Varnak worked faster, his fingers a blur on the keys. Then, the countdown started. 15 minutes until the ship lands. "Got it," Varnak said, his voice calm. He accessed the ship's main communication system. The ship was preparing to send down waves of drones. It was almost time for them to invade Earth completely. Varnak pulled up a new screen. It was time to send a signal to the alien ship. Jack stood beside him. "Are you ready?" Varnak looked at him, his expression cold but determined. "I've never been more ready." The two of them worked together, inputting the final codes. The uplink sent a signal, breaking through the ship's defenses. Varnak's eyes narrowed. "Signal sent," he said. A second passed. Then a massive roar shook the building. The lights flickered, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. They both turned. The tower's walls rattled as an explosion went off high in the sky. The alien ship, their enemy, had received the message. It was coming. Varnak felt his heart pound in his chest. He had just triggered the countdown for the alien ship's destruction. But it wasn't enough. The alien ship had detected the signal and was retaliating. The countdown to Earth's destruction had begun. "We need to move now," Jack said, his voice firm. He turned toward the window. He could see the alien drones in the sky, racing toward the ground. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They were coming. And they were not alone. Varnak looked out at the sky. The black ship now hovered above the city, its engines glowing. It was massive. Its surface smooth like black glass. It was like a monster that had come to swallow the Earth whole. "We're not ready for this," Varnak muttered. Jack stepped forward. "No one is ready, but we will fight." The air was filled with the sound of screeching engines, and the Earth shook again. Drones were falling like rain, their metallic wings flashing in the light. Jack looked at the soldiers, the citizens. They were ready. They were scared, but they were ready. "This is Earth's fight," Jack said, his voice loud enough for all to hear. "We stand together. We fight together. And we win together." The sky was dark, but it wasn't just night anymore. The shadow of the alien ship spread across the city like a great storm, blocking out the stars. Below, chaos had turned into something else. It was fighting. Varnak stood on the front lines. Beside him, Jack Carter, now more than just a soldier, led the humans with a calm strength that couldn't be ignored. They were ready to face the monsters in the sky. And they would not run. The drones were falling from the sky, their black bodies lighting up the dark as they broke apart. Soldiers, civilians, anyone who could hold a weapon, fought back with everything they had. Tanks rolled down the streets. Guns fired. Explosions rocked the ground. But the alien ship wasn't done yet. It had released its final wave. Massive, armored beasts, alien warriors, each one taller than any human, stepped onto the ground. Their weapons crackled with energy. They were fast, strong, and their armor was nearly invincible. Jack and Varnak didn't hesitate. "Stay close," Jack said, his voice low. "We fight together." Varnak nodded, his sharp eyes scanning the horizon. He could feel the pressure of the countdown in his head, the memory of the Creator's threat still fresh in his mind. The clock was ticking, and it was time to end this. The alien warriors charged forward, their guns firing bursts of green energy. Jack dove behind a broken building, using his quick reflexes to avoid the shots. Varnak moved faster, his body a blur as he cut through the first alien warrior with his blade. The creature screamed as sparks flew, but it was still alive. Not for long. Varnak didn't stop. He slashed again, and the alien warrior crumpled to the ground, its body sparking as it went down. But more came. The alien warriors were relentless, and their numbers seemed endless. Jack pulled out a small explosive device from his pack and threw it at a group of the invaders. The explosion was deafening. Several aliens were blown apart, but more took their place. "We need to get inside that ship," Jack shouted, his voice drowned by the chaos. Varnak moved toward him, slashing through more of the alien soldiers. He was quick, efficient, but he could see it now. He was getting slower. The Creator's control over him had taken its toll. "Can you keep going?" Jack asked, watching him closely. Varnak looked at the sky, where the massive ship hovered, its dark form almost blending with the night. He knew that if they didn't get inside that ship, the battle would be lost. The entire planet would be doomed. He was a weapon, and he had one last mission. "I can," Varnak said, his voice strong again. Jack nodded and turned to lead the way. They made their way through the battle, moving fast and low. Explosions rang out around them, shaking the ground, but they pressed on. They reached the entrance to the alien ship. It was surrounded by soldiers, more of the warriors who had come down from the ship. Varnak growled low, stepping forward to take them on. But Jack held him back. "We don't have time," Jack said. "We need to get inside before the ship fully powers up. If it does, it'll be too late." Varnak hesitated. The fight would be hard, but Jack was right. They couldn't waste time. With a grunt, he sprinted toward the door, moving faster than the soldiers could react. Jack followed, and together, they burst through the entrance. Inside the ship, the air was cold, the walls black and smooth. It was silent, too silent. "This is it," Jack said. He turned to Varnak. "We end it here." Varnak looked at the control room ahead. "Your people are strong," he said. "Stronger than I expected." Jack smiled. "You're not the only one who can change." They moved quickly, finding the main control panel. Varnak hacked into it, his hands moving with the speed of years of training. Jack stood guard, his eyes sharp, watching every door, every corner. Then the warning sounded. Ship core activated. 5 minutes until detonation. "Too late," Jack muttered. "We need to shut it down now." Varnak's mind raced. He had to act fast. He pulled up the system commands. The core was ready to explode, but the ship's central system needed to be overridden first. Varnak worked faster, his hands moving like lightning, the walls shaking with every explosion outside. Then he froze. The creators had locked him out. They had prepared for this. They knew he would try to stop the ship. The countdown was ticking down faster now. 4 minutes. Jack looked at Varnak. "What's wrong?" Varnak's face was grim. "I can't stop it. The control is locked. We're too late." Jack turned to the window. The battle outside was still raging, the sky filled with the light of explosions. Then he turned back to Varnak. "You were made to kill, but you can choose to save. Can you do that now?" Varnak stared at the control panel. His heart raced. He wasn't just a weapon anymore. He was free. He could choose. He slammed his fist into the console. The screen flashed. The countdown stopped. Core deactivated. The ship's alarms stopped. The silence was deafening. Jack stepped forward, a relieved smile on his face. "You did it." Varnak breathed out slowly. "We did it." The ship was no longer a threat. But the war was far from over. The war was over. The alien ship, once a terrifying shadow over Earth, now lay silent in the sky, its engines cold and its systems shut down. The creators had failed. Their invasion was stopped by the humans they thought weak. But it wasn't just humans who had defeated them. Varnak stood on the edge of a destroyed city. His eyes watched the sky, the stars that had once felt so far away now looking different. He was no longer an assassin, no longer a weapon controlled by the creators. He was free. Beside him, Jack Carter looked out at the horizon. The battle was done, but the damage was clear. Buildings were destroyed. There were fires still burning in the distance, but the fighting was over. And now, it was time to rebuild. "We did it," Jack said quietly, his voice full of exhaustion and relief. "We stopped them." Varnak nodded but didn't speak. His mind was still racing, thinking of the decisions he had made. The creators had been wrong about Earth, wrong about humans, but they had also been wrong about him. "You're not the weapon they created," Jack continued, looking at Varnak. "You're more than that." Varnak finally spoke. "I didn't know what it meant to be more. I was made to follow orders. But now, I see what you mean." Jack smiled slightly. "You have a choice now, Varnak. A choice to fight for something bigger than just survival. You don't have to be their soldier anymore." For the first time, Varnak felt something deep inside him shift. The weight of his past, the fear of being controlled, had been replaced with a sense of purpose. He didn't have to live by the Creator's rules anymore. He could make his own. "We will rebuild," Varnak said, his voice steady, but with a new strength. "We'll teach the humans how to fight back, and we'll protect this planet together." Jack looked out across the landscape. The first rays of sunlight were starting to peek over the horizon. The dawn of a new day. A new world. "Together," Jack said, "we'll rebuild, but we'll do it with everyone. Humans, aliens, all of us." Varnak turned to Jack. "Do you think the humans will trust me after everything?" Jack smiled. "You've earned their trust. You helped them win." Varnak nodded, but deep inside, he knew that it wouldn't be easy. The world was scared, and people would remember the aliens who had come to destroy them. But Varnak had learned something important. He had learned that trust wasn't about forgetting the past. It was about moving forward together. As the sun rose higher, the world slowly began to move again. Soldiers and civilians worked side by side, putting out fires, clearing debris, and searching for survivors. People who had once been terrified of the alien threat were now standing tall, their faces filled with hope. For the first time in a long time, Earth had a future. Jack turned to Varnak. "We've got a lot of work ahead of us." Varnak nodded. "Yes, we do. But now we have the strength to do it." They walked toward the heart of the city, where the rest of the survivors were gathering. A small group of humans and allies stood together, ready to rebuild. There was no more fear in their eyes. There was only the determination to start again. In the distance, the alien ship was still there, but it was no longer a threat. It was a symbol, a reminder of what had been overcome. And for the first time, Earth looked up at the stars without fear. Epilogue. Years passed, and Earth began to thrive again. The humans, along with their new allies, worked together to rebuild the cities, heal the land, and prepare for whatever future came next. Varnak became a symbol of change, a reminder that even the darkest past could lead to a brighter future. The creators were gone, but their legacy was not forgotten. The war had taught the humans something important. They were stronger than anyone had ever believed, and Varnak learned that he was not just a weapon. He was a protector, a leader, and most importantly, a part of something much bigger than himself. As Earth looked toward the stars once again, they knew one thing for certain: the future was theirs.